Good afternoon. I'm Ben McElroy, Coordinator of Transfer Admissions at Worcester State University. And I'm pleased to be sharing this Helping Week information session to Greenfield Community College students. So at Worcester State University, we try to make transferring as easy as possible in a variety of ways. One way we do that is to participate in the mass transfer program. Whether or not you've heard about that, sometimes mixed with different students and interests and majors. But mass transfer is a statewide agreement between the community colleges and the four-year campuses to help streamline the transfer process within some specific majors, but a lot of them are a little more open, like general studies and liberal arts and that type of thing. We also try to maximize your transfer credits as much as possible. And we'll be going over some of those methods a little bit later on in this presentation. But at this point in time, we accept a maximum of 72 transfer credits from a two-year college like GCC. We also have experienced staff dedicated to enrolling new transfer students. Starts in admissions at the Admissions Transfer Center, my office. We also have transfer specialists in financial aid, the registrar's office, in the Academic Success Center. So as a team, we help navigate you through the transfer transition process to Worcester State to make it as easy and burden-free on you as possible. And our biggest goal is to ensure that you become a Worcester State community member even before the semester begins. So last academic year, we brought in about 500 or more new transfer students, which resulted from roughly 1,000 transfer applications from across the state, the region, and the nation. About 31% of our new fall 2020 semester students were transfers. That's a fairly steady number. It fluctuates a little bit between 30, 35, sometimes edging up closer to 40%, depending on the year. And then for the spring semester, 84% of our new students were transfer students. And that number is very representative of the percentage for the spring class, which is smaller than the fall class and almost entirely made up of transfer students. As transfer students, you are a vital component of the Worcester State community. You bring with you a wealth of experiences, both academically and otherwise, to help enhance your education, your class, and your classmates' education as well. I did mention the Admissions Transfer Center. We have a series of services and opportunities available to you as a prospective transfer student. One of the main functions that I perform is offer pre-transfer advising as far as transfer credits, choices of major, and other programming information. I host transfer information sessions throughout the academic year. Starting this semester, they're both in person and virtual. And that's true of the on-the-spot admission decision days for transfer students. I do have on campus and virtual opportunities there. I have specific office hours to meet with students, including appointments, which would be prearranged. But generally Wednesdays are walk-in Wednesdays, roughly between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. You're welcome to walk in to the Admissions Transfer Center, and I'll address your questions in a one-on-one format on Wednesdays. I just recommend that you call ahead so that to be sure that I am in the office and not in a meeting or another student appointment. We have a transfer students webpage full of information, including some introductory videos regarding the transfer process, as well as links to register for some of the events I just described and other important information you'll need as a transfer student. About 10 years ago, the admissions office and the Academic Success Center collaborated on creating an online transfer course equivalency guide, which includes tens of thousands of course equivalencies from over 1,000 individual colleges and universities. GCC is fairly well represented on that equivalency guide. However, we haven't captured every course yet. So if there is a course you're taking and you don't see it on the equivalency guide, let me know what it is and I can send that out to the faculty for evaluation so we can create an equivalency for that course for you. And that all leads into the transfer credit evaluations that I prepare for every transfer student who is accepted. The evaluations show which of your courses transferred and which degree requirements they fulfill. So it's a very handy tool to help you start navigating the completion of your degree at Worcester State. The top 5 transfer majors for this particular academic year happen to be listed at the bottom of the screen here. Those aren't all our majors or our best majors or anything along those lines. Those just happen to be the majors that transfer students tend to gravitate toward for a variety of reasons. We have over 30 majors to choose from, and we'll be discussing some of them later in just a moment. In fact, this is the first one we'll be talking about, the Communication Sciences and Disorders major. It's a program that's designed to facilitate an understanding of normal human communication processes and communication disorders. As a student, you're provided with the knowledge and skills that enable you to succeed in graduate school and or in the workplace. The department, so this degree would lead toward, speech language pathology, audiology, and other careers. So the department also offers a minor in disability studies, as well as a normal and disordered speech, language, and hearing program, which is sort of a condensed mini version of the major. Worcester State also offers a Master of Science in Speech Language Pathology. And in fact, most careers within the CSD field do require some sort of master's degree. I'd also like to highlight the fact that we have an on-site speech, language, and hearing center. It's fully functional. We have actual clients, not just student clients or test, sort of like I want to call them test subjects, but that's not quite the right term. But so our students in both the undergraduate and graduate programs do observe the therapy in session. They take notes. The graduate students would also conduct some of those therapy sessions. So it's a living and breathing clinic for exclusive use for students in this major. We also have a criminal justice major. And it's a very comprehensive major. It's not just about becoming a police officer at the local, state, or national level. In fact, you can see a very comprehensive list of areas that students will engage in, whether in class or through experiential learning opportunities like internships. But there's a lot there. So feel free to read as I continue to speak. But our faculty members in criminal justice are very active within the discipline, and they're engaged in various research opportunities, different agencies and organizations dedicated to the field. And they're gonna teach you well. They're gonna challenge you. They're going to ensure that you're a successful criminal justice graduate who will be able to become an effective employee in the field. Some of those careers would include a victim advocate, a police officer or detective, or both, intelligence analyst, loss prevention manager at, say, a retail store, corrections officer, homeland security, and more. So the list is almost endless, as you can see on the topics listed in the first bullet point. Covers a variety of areas for any interest. Next up are our education programs at Worcester State, and there are several of those. Starts with early childhood education, which leads toward teacher licensure, early education and care, which is the non-licensure track of early childhood education. With that program, you could teach in a preschool, private preschool or daycare, Head Start, and other similar programs. We also offer elementary education and both middle school and secondary education programs. In fact, Worcester State has been preparing highly qualified teachers since 1874. That's the year that we were founded, and therefore education is our longest running, one of our most successful programs since then. We also have created very strong and strategic partnerships with the Worcester Public Schools to offer you, the students, dynamic student teaching experiences and other, components of the hands-on learning portion of the education program. Class observations, maybe teaching a lesson here and there. Our faculty have also developed the education curriculum to embed MTEL preparation in some of the introductory and some of the intermediate courses, such that you can successfully complete that test. That's the Massachusetts Test for Educator Licensure. It's a statewide standardized exam. But again, there is preparation built into our courses and curriculum. And there are also study guides available for students as well, including sample test questions, etc., and other tools on the MTEL website. A master's degree is required to teach for the long term in Massachusetts. So our undergraduate bachelor's degree programs in education would lead toward what's called the initial license. And that would have to be followed up with a master's degree in education, which would lead to what's called the professional license. And that professional license will have to be earned within 5 years of graduating from the bachelor's degree programs. Speaking of master's programs, we offer a full dozen graduate programs at Worcester State, including master's degrees, advanced study certificates, and other specialties. We also have a psychology major, which is one of the more popular majors, as you saw from that slide with the top 5 transfer majors. But what it does is it provides students with a solid background for a variety of careers and or graduate study in the psychological field. It also prepares bachelor degree holders for entry-level positions in a broad range of areas. In fact, the list is almost as comprehensive as the one I showed for criminal justice. In fact, you can further refine your knowledge and skills through graduate study to specialize in the field. At Worcester State, we don't offer any master's degrees in psychology, with the one exception of school psychology, but that's geared toward education students. So you want to start investigating some graduate schools during, junior, maybe senior year of study at Worcester State. We have a few different concentrations, which include developmental processes, mental health services, and an interdisciplinary women's studies concentration as well. So you'd be taking courses from a variety of academic disciplines as a psychology major, if that's your area of focus. With a psychology degree, sometimes a bachelor's, more often a master's, you can become a substance abuse counselor, a mental health counselor, a music therapist. In fact, we have a solid music minor that would pair well with our psychology major to lead toward that type of career. Be a court advocate. Again, a criminal justice minor might work out well there. Human resources manager. Again, it may be a business minor would help. Behavior specialist, case manager, school psychologist. I'd mentioned we have the school psychology program, a researcher, and others. So, much like all of our majors, sometimes pairing a major with a minor that's related or not, sometimes help expand some opportunities for you at the graduate school level, and especially your marketability as a future employee. And the last major I'm going to highlight is our urban studies major. It's designed to foster an understanding of the complex challenges that face an increasingly urban and metropolitan world, really a global society. The Urban Studies Department houses a city lab and an urban action institute, which offer specific programming and leadership opportunities for students as well as faculty. And we engage with our neighbors in the city of Worcester to get some really great projects up and running. The major offers concentrations in gerontology, intergeneration and community service, public administration and planning, and of a special note, social work and social policy. That concentration will prepare you well for Masters of Social Work, MSW, if that's the direction you wish to head. You can find a career in public administration, policy development, nonprofit management. In fact, with public administration and nonprofit management, there is a 4+ program linked to the urban studies major. And within 5 years, you can earn a full-time study, including your transfer work at GCC. You can earn a bachelor degree in urban studies and then a master's degree in public administration or nonprofit management within 5 years of total study. You can also get into career in urban planning, business, law, human services, healthcare management, housing management, gerontology, social work, and more. So as you can see, other than education, which would lead to a job in teaching or school administration, a lot of the other majors, and then CSD is sort of limited. Limited in as compared to urban studies, psychology, and criminal justice. We have so many opportunities within these majors to really, select coursework in conjunction with the faculty advisor to really lead toward those educational and career goals. So we're going to shift gears now and discuss the admissions process, which again, we try to keep as straightforward and easy as possible. So as far as transfer students are concerned, you do have to submit the Worcester State application. there's an application fee of $50. However, that application fee can be waived. You'll receive a fee waiver code if you attend one of our visit events, like campus tours, open houses, transfer information session, that type of thing. We also automatically waive the application fee for students who take advantage of the on-the-spot decisions day. A final high school transcript is required for all transfer applicants, except for those who have already completed an associate's degree or in their final semester of completing an associate's degree. We can waive that transcript in that case. More importantly, we do require an official college transcript from all colleges attended, whether it was just GCC or GCC in another 2 or 4 year college or a series of them, because that leads into that maximizing your transfer credit goal that we have. If you happen to take any AP or IB course exams in high school, you'll want to send those exam scores to our registrar's office to earn even more credit. Or as a college student, if you completed any CLEP exams, you're going to want to send those scores to the registrar's office as well. The registrar's office at Worcester State is responsible for transferring credit by exam. If you're active military or a military veteran, you'll want to submit your Joint Services Transcript or JST, or your Community College of the Air Force CCAF transcript to the admissions office. We can translate those military experiences. Well, we don't. The ACE, the American Council on Education, translates your military activities into course credit. So once again, the whole point of all those extra things toward the bottom of the bulleted list are to maximize your transfer credits. And the ultimate goal there is to minimize your time toward transfer and your degree completion. As far as the admission criteria for transfer students, it's fairly basic. If you happen to have anywhere from 12 to 23 transferable credits, the minimum GPA we can consider is a 2.5. Once you reach 24 or more transferable college credits, the minimum GPA drops to a 2.0. 2.0 is the absolute minimum GPA that we can consider for a transfer student's admission. And you may be wondering what a transferable credit is. A transferable credit or course is a course completed at a college university such as GCC, and it must be college level, so numbered 100 or above, and the minimum grade is a C- or better. So if your course meets those qualifications, it's considered a transferable credit or course. There's also a third category. This happens very rarely, but a transfer student may have up to 23 transferable college credits and a GPA of a 2.0 to a 2.49 or so. If that's true, then you'll also have to meet first-year admission requirements, which may or may not include standardized test scores like SAT or ACT. Normally, we don't require those SAT or ACT scores, but in this last rare category, we might ask for those test scores from you. We'll definitely need your high school transcript in that case. As far as deadlines, I know it's listed second here, but since this is October, we can discuss the spring semester first, and that's considered January entrance. The deadline to submit all of your application materials is November 15th. There are limited international student opportunities for the spring semester, and there are absolutely no nursing opportunities for the spring semester. If accepted, your deposit deadline to accept your offer of admission would be December 15th. If you're thinking a little more long-term and you're interested in a fall semester entry or September entrance, if you're interested in our traditional 4-year nursing program, that application deadline is January 15th, and that is extremely firm. If you're interested perhaps in our LPN to BSN program, that deadline is February 1st. A priority decision for transfers for the fall semester is March 1st. If you're an international student, you have until April 1st to submit your application materials. And if you're interested in the RN to BSN program or a regular transfer decision, May 1st is the deadline, which also coincides with our deposit deadline for the fall semester of May 1st, if you're accepted and wish to accept the offer of admission. However, after April 1st, if you're admitted sometime in mid-April or May, that deposit deadline is a little bit later and will be outlined and listed very clearly on your acceptance letter. As far as the costs, and just keep in mind that these costs are prior to any financial aid or scholarships that you receive, but our yearly tuition and fees for a commuter student are $10,586. If you wish to live on campus, you'd add another $12,500 for room and board, for a total of $23,086 for the year. And again, that's before financial aid or scholarships or anything like that. Speaking of scholarships, we do offer a transfer merit scholarship through the admissions office. It's intended for September or fall semester entrance only applicants. It's worth $1,000 per academic year for 4 consecutive semesters or 2 years of full-time study. There's no separate application needed. If you meet the minimum qualifications, you'll appear on my transfer list, and you may or may not be awarded one of these transfer scholarships. There are only 15. We generally have upwards of 150 to 200 or more transfer students who qualify. So tends to go toward, strong GPAs, unique majors. If there's something you can contribute to campus, to the diversity of campus in any number of ways that you want to interpret the word diversity, those are factors that we would look for as well. That essentially concludes today's presentation. If you have any questions about anything I talked about or anything I didn't talk about, if you want to schedule a meeting or what have you, our contact information is listed on this slide. There is a dedicated email address for transfer students, transfer@worcester.edu. And the number listed there is the front desk of the transfer center. If you're interested in visiting the transfer website to learn more, it's listed there. And you could also register for individual appointment, decision, or transfer information session on the transfer website. If you're more interested in something like a comprehensive admissions open house or campus tour, you'd want to go to the visit webpage. I always recommend the open houses if you can make it. They're offered every fall semester. This semester, they're going to take place on October 16th and November 6th. And I recommend open houses because faculty are available. There's also a campus tour. We offer brunch, student panels, and tons of other programming that would be of great interest to you. So I thank you for your time and attention and look forward to working with you.